Hi, welcome to the Retirement Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and today we're getting back into JMRI. In our first tip of the day, I gave an introduction to JMRI, just in general terms, and how powerful a tool it can be for our model railroads. And then I gave an introduction into Decoder Pro, one of the modules within JMRI. That simplifies programming and setting up our locomotives the way we want them. All right. So if we go to the bench, I have an Santa Fe F7 here. It's an Athearn Blue Box that Frank Steeler fan gave me an Intermountain shell for, and somewhere in the process I redid how the decoder itself was mounted and so forth, and I shorted out the sound portion of the decoder. All right, so I got a new decoder, and as you can see, the motor control works just fine. It's just the sound portion that doesn't. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to, and I already had it unsnapped. We're going to go in and we are going to look at unmount this decoder, unsnap it, and remount a new one in. All right, and new one arrived via FedEx finally yesterday. So let's get after it, and then we can look at how to add this locomotive back in to the database. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so now that the new decoder's in and sound's working, all right, and these decoders come set up default for a steam engine, so when you honk the horn, you get a whistle. So anyway, it's in, the sound works now, motor control's working, lighting's working to the default. So now all we have to do is input it into JMRI. All right, so stay tuned and we'll get her over here onto the programming track right here. And we will switch our monitor over to JMRI. Okay, so the old decoder was already pre-programmed and it was 326. So we're going to do this. There's a way to copy this and just input it in here, but I'm not going to do that. I want to show you how to input a new decoder. So we're going to do it that route. So we're simply going to delete this one. Delete from roster right here. Okay. And this is the screen. Once you have your first decoder in, your first locomotive input into JMRI, this is the screen it'll open, the Decoder Pro will open into. So I'm going to delete that. Boom, gone. All right. So now that this is 326, we need to add a new loco, and it's a Digitrax decoder. And I think it's a basic FX, and it's a DH166. Nope. How about economy? Here, nope. Series 6. Nope. It's in here somewhere. It's just a matter. Oh, it's up here. That's sound only. Nope. Sound decoders here. SDH166D. Okay. So it's rather easy to find, or you could have it read the decoder. All right. So let's go back and try that Okay. Read type from decoder. So we're going to try that. And it says it could be any one of these. But we already know it's SDH166D. So it's that one right there. And roster ID. As I mentioned before, I always put my initials first. Road number on this is plus the road number. Okay. So that's there. And I'm going to start with a short address. And I want the DC analog off. So I want to write these to the decoder. And it's done. Now I want to save it. Okay? And I'm actually going to cut right there. Alright, now we want to open the comprehensive program. And it opens up to the roster entry. We already said it's SC326. Road name, Santa Fe. Road number, 326. Manufacturer, this is an Athearn. Even though it's got an intermountain body, we can put that on here. Because this is more for informational purposes. It has me listed. I abbreviate those. That's Child Coy. And the model number, this is an F7A unit. Alright. So, we're going to save that to roster. And it is saved. Now I want to go back to the basic. Now there's probably a different way of doing it. This is just the way I learned. I go back to basic. And I want to change it to a long address now. And I want the active address to be 326. And it's long 2 byte. Normal direction of travel is forward. I want it on the 28 to 128 speed stat format. Analog conversion off. So all I do is DCC. Everything else looks good. And I want to write the changes to the sheet. Okay, so that's done. Next thing, motor control. Okay, now this is where I can adjust the momentum and I can do a whole lot of other things. But right now, this episode or this tip of the day is simply how to get the locomotive into Decoder Pro JMRI and how to change the address to what you want. Okay, so all of this is done. I simply want to come up and we're going to address the other stuff here in subsequent tips of the day. So come back and stay tuned for all of those. But right now we want to save this. All right. And we can close this and look at our roster. And if we come down here and look there, there's 326. It's back, Santa Fe, 326, Athearn Intermodal, F7A. Everything's there. Okay? The only thing left to do now is take it off of the test track and make sure it answers or responds to its new address. So we put it on here. Oh, there was one other thing I forgot to do. So we'll go back and do that as well. Alright, so my controller still defaulted to 3. So if you notice, it didn't do anything. Okay? So let's put in 326. Acquire. There we go. It fired up. Now what did I forget to do on the initial step? I forgot to give the sound the proper profile. Remember I said this decoder comes default in a Steam profile. So let's open this back up, put her back on the programming track, and get her put over to a diesel sound. Okay, so let's change it over from steam to diesel. And to do that, we simply come up here to sound. All right, and where it has steam, we change that over to diesel. Now, we only have 2 profiles on these economy decoders. These are 8-bit decoders, and they only give you a generic steam or a GP38. All right, so we're going to do that. And the rest stays the same. And so we write changes on the sheet. And there we go. And what do? We always have to make sure we save it. All right. So let's put her back on the test track. And we hit the horn. Okay, now we got diesel sound. All right. So, anyway, that is your intro to, well, not intro. That is the first step on Decoder Pro of getting your locomotive reprogrammed and into your roster on Decoder Pro. All right. And here in the next few days, we'll take a look at other sound functions, lighting functions, motor control, speed table, which leads to speed matching, and momentum if you want. If you so choose, you want to add momentum for the acceleration rate and deceleration rate. All these different functions. So stay tuned for those here at the Retirement Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and y'all have a great day. Bye now.